So I put this video of Raat Raazi,
Yeah.
really weirdly shot, honestly, in my apartment in New York. I was kind of wearing these shorts which had checks on them,
Yeah.
and everybody thought they were boxers, but they're not. They were actually shorts.
अभी तो शाम बाकी है और रात राज़ी
Thank you so much for doing this, Prateek.
Yeah, of
How are
course.
you feeling? You're here for a concert, living the dream.
Honestly, I don't really think about it too much.
Yeah.
Just kind of go through life, honestly.
Like ad
And then-
hoc.
Yeah, really. Not ad hoc,
Yeah.
but I just mean like I at least with like the concert stuff, and a lot of people ask me this about how I feel when I'm on stage, and I don't actually like let it affect me beyond a point,
Yeah.
positively or negatively.
Yeah.
Now, the more I've done it. In the beginning, it really used to. Like a good show felt really, really amazing. A bad show, felt really bad.
Yeah.
Now it's like the both extremes of kind of maybe it's just
Yeah.
getting a bit. Maybe I'm just more mature now. I don't know.
Or you just get used to it. Like
I think so. Yeah,
beyond a
that too.
point, like your feelings were muted to the
Yeah.
same experience.
Otherwise, it's too much. Also, of like I think it's also like a coping mechanism because
Yeah.
otherwise it can be really overwhelming. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm doing so many shows in a year.
Yeah.
If I let each one affect myself, my emotions are just going up and down all the time.
What's a ballpark? How many shows are you doing in a year?
Depends. Like I think 2019 we did a good, I want to say 70 to 80 shows.
Wow.
All
over the world.
Maybe all over the world. Then there was no shows for 2 years, and then starting like 2022 till now, another like 40. I think 40 or 50 we've done already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it get overwhelming?
No, actually, I mean, actually now, I think touch wood, like at least this year, I think because I got 2 years of solid break
Yeah.
to really mentally, I don't know, figure out a lot of the stuff. Like 2019 was chaotic for me.
Yeah.
That touring year, that was the first like heavy touring year for me of my career, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
I've toured, I played shows a lot, but it just with back-to-back US shows in Europe. I did 2 US tours, 1 Europe tour and 1 India tour that year.
Wow.
So it's just all year it was just crazy,
Yeah.
and I was not as disciplined through it. I was not as prepared. Like I said, I was letting the shows affect me also, and that gets to you. It's
sure. Yeah.
it's challenging for sure,
Yeah.
emotionally and physically and
Yeah.
mentally. But this year I've been pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay, a little bit of trivia. So you'd mentioned that right before you released Cold Mess, you actually wanted to shelve it.
Yeah.
And you also wanted to kind of drop out of your music career,
Yeah,
if that's an
yeah.
option.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tell
Sorry,
us
you
about it.
want
No,
that?
I mean, I was hoping you just continue my line of thought.
I mean, I'll be completely honest. I get like existential crisis like
All
all
the
the time. Like even now, sometimes I'll have a bad day and I'd be like, I'm done. And I was thinking about this. I think this is also one of my coping mechanisms in life in general. Like, I used to be a runner. I used to run a lot.
Yeah.
Now I don't do it as much, but I used to like do like 5-10Ks a week,
Oh,
kind of
wow.
like really intense running. There was a year or two of my life I was running a lot. Like, I mean, every couple of years I've had like, just to sit down with a notebook and like put pros and cons on my
Yeah,
life and be
yeah.
like, this is not working, this is not working. If I don't do this, like if I quit being a musician, what am I going to do next? These are the skills I have. Like I'm very like methodical like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I always give myself that option, and it's weird because I think usually what they recommend always is, or you'll see most people saying that never give up kind of
Yeah.
thing, and to me that's really scary actually.
Yeah.
So this is a
It's the
better
pressure
coping.
of it, like,
It's pressure.
never give
It's a lot
up.
of pressure,
Yeah.
and this makes it easier because
Yeah.
then I don't take everything too seriously also, and I think like you shouldn't take life too seriously. In general for anybody. That's just how I like living it.
And you were born and raised in Jaipur.
Yes.
And you had your parents were working professionals.
Right.
It was a very different life from
Yeah.
what this is, right?
Yeah.
So walk us through your childhood, especially the fact that your household had 3 women, 2 sisters, and
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
So what was that like?
Amazing, actually. Honestly, I love my sisters and thankfully, I have like a really good relationship with my parents and my sister and my family. We were all really tight,
Yeah.
and they're actually like hugely responsible in that sense for creating just like the security around me when I was even when I've decided to become a musician, like being really supportive. And just in general, I mean, of course, family is like really important to me at least. And growing up, it was very simple actually. I mean, I was just, Jaipur was, now it's kind of grown a lot. It used to be really quite a small town,
But what kind of a kid were you?
Apparently, when I was really young, I don't remember this, but I was very, very hyper. That's what my mom and my sisters tell me, that you were just really hard to deal with because you'd just be running around all the time. You are absolutely crazy. Which actually, I'm kind of still like that sometimes. I actually have like, people think I'm like,
the persona's not, it's like very zen.
Yeah, because it is like that. There's a side of me which is very, very zen. Like there's time when I really want to just relax, be by myself. But when I get like, I also have like bursts of energy. And then like, for maybe a month or like some time, I'd just be all over the place. Like I just, I'm not super like meditating all. But yeah, childhood it was pretty simple. It was pretty nice. I don't have anything like, I was a decent student. I just, had no idea what I was going to do in life.
Oh, you didn't?
I had no like big dreams or like, I had no ambition actually. I was just kind of just going, I was really just letting things happen. I was really ad hoc that time for sure. Like I was just like, okay, let's do this now, let's not do that. Like I was stressed about what I'm going to do. Just kind of going with the flow all the time.
But do you have any idea, not like dream in terms of, okay, this is like, I want to like kill it or whatever accompanies the dream, but did you know that this is a profession?
Yeah, I don't think I really knew till college. Like, I always loved music. Always. And I used to sing even when I was 5 a lot.
Oh, wow.
I was just sing by myself. I never like really learned or took training. Did a lot of random stuff. And I used to love singing. And then everything else was regular. I played sports. I used to play basketball. I studied decently. I was always decent at school. Never amazing, not like terrible either.
Just like in the middle.
Yeah, like decent, like I did well some years I didn't, and then I did have dreams in the sense like, but it was just an impossibility at that point. It felt like it.
What?
Like,
what was the dream?
I did want to, like, I remember feeling like sometimes like certain songs or certain performances that I saw in Jaipur. Like I remember one time Strings came to Jaipur.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I was a huge fan. Still am. And they came to Jaipur and I was crazy because not too many bands came to Jaipur actually. So it was pretty crazy that they came back then, and like this must have been like 2006 or 7 maybe. I was 16, 17. And I remember like just seeing like, the guitarist like shredding on stage, and then that night like going back home and being like, just kind of imagining myself doing it on stage. But I never thought it would actually happen. And then I definitely didn't want to do music because it was just very clear, and nobody actually encourages you, in India in general.
But you said something interesting. You said, I definitely didn't want to do music.
Yeah, I definitely didn't want to do it because it was just like, it was just in my head, it was a hobby. I was like, I'm never going to do this seriously. But like, that's absurd. And also nobody encourages you. Nobody ever says that, oh, you should do music. When you say something like that, they're like, yeah, this is a hobby. Like, you're smart, your father's a lawyer already, this is a professional. So when you come from a background of professionals, everybody's very academic oriented. So everybody's really just telling you to, expected me to actually be a lawyer. I definitely didn't want to do that because I was always a bit of a rebel, and I was like, I'm definitely not doing what my dad's doing. So I'm going to do something else. So I really liked math. And then I got into NYU for math. So I was very happy with that.
So you're studying math at NYU, and you had grappled with the guitar before you had kind of figured that out.
So I started playing the guitar when I was 16. College was the first time I started considering music, and I think New York really shaped my personality a lot. It really influenced me. It really like opened my mind to like, a lot of just philosophies of life, just how to live. You just, I don't know, you just meet so many different people from so many different fields, and from this tiny life in Jaipur where it's just very homogenous, everybody kind of does the same thing. You're either doing engineering or medical or like going abroad maybe, or like sticking to like a straight cut route. Being in New York, I was like,
wow, there's
people
so
have
much,
crazy
it's like its
lives,
world.
because so many people you meet have really like crazy lives. Like, they'll do something for 10 years and something else for 10 years.
Entirely.
And very, very successful, very happy, So it just opens your mind, and that happened. And that's when I started considering it.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe I could do this. And by then I started writing songs.
So studying math, and you obviously have this inclination towards music. You said that that's the time I seriously started considering it. What was that one thing that pivoted you to being like, okay, let's give this a shot?
So I put this video of Raat Raazi, which on NH7 Weekenders, like.
Yeah.
So NH7 had a website, which was kind of trendy that time, in the sense a lot of people actually checked it out. Like now, I don't think like blogs are that big anymore. But back then, like indie circuit, like people would actually go to it and see all the videos on there. So you put a video out there, like it would get views, And that's just like the starting of actually the YouTube and like social media era, and early years of that. So I put out a video of Raat Raazi, really weirdly shot, honestly, in my apartment in New York. I was kind of wearing these shorts which had checks on them, and everybody thought they were boxers, but they're not. They were actually shorts.
I love how you're
clarifying. Pockets. Yeah, I feel like I should clarify this now, 10 years later, but they really were like shorts.
Okay.
But
it's fun if it's boxers also.
I think it would be really weird if it was boxers.
It's fine. So, like,
but they really weren't. They really weren't.
Yeah, but also this is like pre-era where like everything wasn't scrutinized as much, So whatever.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It was pretty chill back then, actually. So that's when I put that out.
And how did you write the song?
How did I write? I don't know. I just started writing songs. I still kind of write them like that. Pretty much. It just kind of happens, honestly.
Wow.
Just kind of happens.
Yeah.
It's just I get really overwhelmed. Like I don't know. I sit down, suddenly a bunch of stuff will come out.
Where do you write it usually? Like on paper?
Yeah, both. Sometimes paper, sometimes my phone, sometimes the laptop. Depends.
Wow. Okay.
I usually always have had my phone because voice memos is like important. So I keep like recording bits a lot. So that's like what I do the most. And then if something's nice, then it just kind of comes out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it just kind of happened, that song. But with Raat Raazi, actually, it was one of those songs which took me a while to write. I remember like I had kind of like most of it. And then I was trying to fill in like some verses, some bridge sections here and there. Like worked on the guitar parts really slowly. Like that took a little while to structure. It was not one of those songs which just came in a flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long did it take?
Probably a month or two, I want to say, but it's not like you're writing it every single day.
Yeah, it's like you give it a break.
Spend a couple of hours a day, then you get away from it, and you come back a week or two later.
Yeah.
Or like maybe 5 days later. Or sometimes you have a thought of like, oh, maybe I'll put this line. Like randomly just walking around, this line pops up.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's good, that could work there. So it's just, there's no process actually. I think it keeps changing actually, the process.
So then what happened?
Yeah, I know it's not like crazy or anything, but it got some attention, And then because of that, I got a slot at the Weekender that year in Delhi. And I was still working at this place in New York that time.
Yeah.
I'd just graduated.
Yeah.
And
where were you working?
I was working at a consulting firm in New York.
Okay.
And kind of like finance, economics kind of scene. Then I just, I remember I flew back to India for like a weekend, literally from New York.
Why?
For the festival.
For the festival, okay. Yeah.
I pretty much basically spend everything that I made on the festival flying back. I just had about enough. And I was also earning that time. So I think it might have been a little more than that only, but I was like, okay, I have a salary, whatever, this is important. I wanted to do it. But then things started picking up, like just from that little bit, like I won a little contest in New York, I remember.
How cool.
From this blog called, I think it's called Indaba Music or something. It was, they flew me to like, they didn't fly me well, but they gave me a little like money to fly to New Orleans for a random concert. So I went like in the middle, like by myself with the guitar, like a lot of random stuff. I used to play around the city randomly. So like, I don't know. Yeah. I just had a feeling that like, if I don't, and this is kind of like my thing about everything, I'd rather do something and regret it than not do it and regret it,
Yeah.
Like inaction, like if I don't do something, I always feel a lot more like, oh man, should have tried it.
Yeah, should have just done it.
That's kind of like my attitude towards things in general. Just like, I'd rather just do it. And if something goes wrong, it's fine. I can, at least I know I tried it.
So once you kind of decided, put your papers down, what did you do then? Like what happened? Because it's not a conventional path, right? Giving up. First of all, you studied math.
Yeah, I was really clueless. Yeah.
And then you got this job at a consulting firm. You
Yeah.
obviously have this thing going on the side, but then you give up the main thing for the side thing, which is
Yeah.
obviously always difficult. So then what?
I was confused. I didn't know, like, my manager also moved back to India that
Okay.
time,
Yeah.
who my manager was, and started figuring stuff out.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, neither of us, had any connections in the music industry beyond a point. He did a little bit because he'd worked in, like, theater and stuff back in, like, when he was living, because he's from Delhi originally. But I thought didn't know a soul in the media industry or music or Delhi, indie, nobody, you know. So I had no clue how to do what. But I think that kind of worked in my favor because, you know, I think we approached everything like very by the book and from the fundamentals. Instead of like, what happens, I feel like a lot of times that people tend to learn things based on how other people around them are doing it, you know. So I always try to figure out like what's best for me, you know.
And
what
you
can I
moved
do.
back from New York at this point in
I
time.
moved back, yeah.
Yeah.
2013, I was back in India. So I moved back all of 2013. I was very bored till like August because we recorded Raat Raazi that year,
Yeah.
the EP. That took like a week. I mean,
Okay.
that's how long it takes. You know, when you have very low budgets
Yeah.
and you're squeezing in like 5 songs, like a song a day. Let's go.
Yeah.
go. Minimal production. I don't know anybody. I know 2 musicians. A lot of people really like the production on that record, and like it's really minimal because I didn't know what else to do.
Yeah.
I didn't have any production skills, and we were kind of playing those songs live that time anyway, like that, and I just recorded it like that. And I didn't have money to get a bunch of musicians or like fancy producers or anything, so it was pretty like fairly like tight budgets, and but it kind of sounded nice because I don't know, it was always a lot about like whatever I did, and I'm still like that. I'd rather do less and really like go kind of you know, detailed on that.
Yeah.
Like instead of doing like 100 things, I like to do like 5, but then do them like really, really well.
Yeah.
All this like now makes sense in hindsight, but it was just very intuitive. I just kind of did it.
Yeah.
And so people appreciated that a lot. And yeah, so first 6 months, I think we recorded in January, February or something. And then for the next 4 months, I'm nothing. I was just sitting around having existential crises every week.
So there were doubts at that point in time.
Oh, huge. I was like, what the hell have I done?
Given up my New York apartment.
But I'd already recorded the album, so I was like, okay, now I have to put it out.
Yeah.
So let's just, you know. But it would fluctuate between that, and I was also like very like, okay, what are we doing? So I'd keep calling my manager every day, or like keep looking at stuff, like, okay, let's do this, let's do that. What's about PR? Like, just how do you like publicize?
Yeah.
How do you like market stuff? How do
So you
we
were doing
get good
like
artists?
the little things, like you were doing things progressively every day, just like it wasn't manifesting necessarily in a large action.
Yeah, I was trying to do stuff, but there were a lot of days or weeks when I would just be like depressed and like down and like just watching movies or staring at the wall and being like, you know, because when you feel hopeless, then you get even more
drawn into that,
drawn in, and then you start to self-victimize a little bit sometimes, or doubt yourself, or get anxious and stressed out, and then you can't do anything because you physically can't do anything sometimes.
Yeah.
But then the moment we put out Raat Raazi, things really picked up.
Yeah.
Like I got programmed at all 4 weekenders that year, which was a big deal because I just started. Like that was my first real release. I want to get better as a musician and a songwriter. That's been my like focus. And I've tried to learn like basic production skills.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So did you teach yourself, or is it something
I just taught myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, the biggest learning, honestly, every time I made a record, I worked with a producer, right?
Yeah.
Or like a couple of engineers and stuff. That would always be a huge learning curve because it would be like 1 month of like focused every day, and I would see them doing stuff, and you learn a lot of tricks. And then I would go back, and then the next 1 year would apply those tricks and get better. So I feel like all my education really happened in all the albums I made.
Yeah. While your parents were supportive, obviously, of your decision, kind of encouraged you to get into music, what was the chatter? Like, were people, say, accessory people, maybe relatives, maybe friends, maybe people you went to school with or college with, wondering what the hell you're doing with your life after getting...
Yeah.
Yeah?
Everybody thought I was crazy.
Yeah. And how are you dealing with that?
But people were generally nice about it. You know, nobody comes to your face and be like, you're an idiot. You know, nobody's going to do that. But you get a sense because they'll be like, oh, how's it going? You know, like, oh, cool, that's cool. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, but you can tell that everybody's a bit concerned. Like, okay, are you sure? Like, you know, stuff like that. My parents flipped in the sense, even my parents were not encouraging before that, you know, because I myself was not like, I really want to do this.
Before what? You said that.
Before I made a decision to actually switch to become a musician, I actually do it. Like it was one day I decided to do it. Like one day suddenly just something switched and I was like, I'm going to do this now for 1 year. I've decided nobody can stop me. Till that point, nobody was like, you should do this. Nobody ever said this to me. Other than actually the manager who I was kind of working with. He was the only one like, we could do this at some point. Seriously. But the moment I told, you know, my parents and my family, you know, like, I'm going to do this. Then after that, they were like, okay, cool. Then we're with you. Let me know what you need. Kind of scene. Everybody else was random about it. Like some friends were pretty supportive about it. Some of my friends. My girlfriend in college, we dated for like 5 years. My ex-girlfriend. And like she was very supportive. Actually, I would say like she was one of the people who really gave me a lot of confidence. To all through NYU. Like, and we were like really, you know, just like both of us were kind of introverted. So I feel like we just basically hung out with each other a lot. So she was also kind of like a big influence me overall, obviously, because when you spend so much time with somebody, wonderful person. And she really encouraged me. Like she really would encourage me. And we dated for a couple of, and then we finally broke up because of long distance, but because I moved back to India. But we dated for an year after I moved back. So she was a big source of support because she was always supportive. And then even when I switched and started doing it, she would really like, when I felt like it's not going to work out, like she would really talk me through it and be like, you got this, you can do this, you know? She was a huge support. So I had some friends, some other friends also from school who were like very supportive because some of them were artists themselves and they were also just like, hell yeah, this is awesome. And they'd come out to the shows. So I had a lot of supportive people also, and my family was very supportive. Like they would come to every single show. My friends would come to most of my early shows where there would be nobody. Some of the shows in Delhi I played, like it was just 8 people and they were all my friends, you know. So that would be really weird because I was like, guys, we can do this at home. You just paid $500 to enter the show. Like, I had to get a drink, you know. This kind of stuff would happen a lot. But then, yeah, there were relatives and all who would like sometimes make snide remarks, and like my parents would get calls from a lot of people. My dad never told me then, but now he tells me like so many people call me like, are you insane? You cannot let your son do this. You know, his friends and all, like you're lost your mind, you're crazy. But he really, you know, kept me protected from that, obviously, because he never told me back then. He told me years later that all these guys used to say it. Now they're all calling me to congratulate.
Always flips. And then you made your Bollywood debut with Kho Gaye Hum Kahan. How was that? What was that process like?
Quite random actually, because again, when I started, everybody again said like, that's one thing a lot of people said, oh, you have to get into Bollywood. That's the only way. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try. So I went to Bombay. I remember I went and spent like a couple of weeks in Bombay. I tried to like, through my manager, we knew a couple of people, like, you know, just like some kind of like young directors and musicians themselves, try to meet people. Ended up getting a couple of meetings from a couple of bigger directors as well. Just, you know, people are just like generally like connect you and stuff. So I just wanted to get a sense of like how do I do this. And after like talking to, I remember there was this one director. He was very like, I won't name him obviously, but made a lot of like really fairly big like mid-budget films that did really well, quality films actually. And he said that, you know, this is Bollywood. You have to decide. You can either be a composer or a lyricist or I think the third thing I can't remember. Oh yeah, you have to either be a composer or a lyricist or a singer. You can't do all three. And I was like, but I want to do all three because I can. You know, I've been a singer-songwriter. I like doing the whole process. I like making a record. And that's how they do it in the whole rest of the world. This is the only place they don't do it like that. I don't understand why. And he was just like, no, it's not going to happen. You can't do it. So you pick and you do one of them. And that really made me feel like I don't want to do that. So I explored it, and then I was like, I don't want to like chase this. So I was like, cool, I'm just going to keep putting out my records. Let's see what happens, because, you know, I was kind of getting shows. I was making a decent, like just about enough to kind of, you know, be able to like actually like pay for my expenses and all. I was living with my dad that time, so I didn't have to, you know, pay rent. So I was like, you know, this is fine. It's okay with me. We'll see what happens. And also simultaneously thought I could always move to the US and do it there also at some point.
So the options are lingering permanently.
So yeah, you're always thinking about stuff. But basically I was just like, that was one thing. I was like, I can't do this like composer lyricist. Like, you know, why? I want to do all of it.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of the conversations I had, there was a couple of other people also met. I just didn't, it was very discouraging. People were mostly quite discouraging. They were like, no, this is the pattern. This is how you have to do it.
Like, this is how it's done.
This is how it's
you
done.
You must conform.
And ऐसे ही होगा. Otherwise नहीं करो. नहीं होगा तुम्हारा कुछ.
So you've never been a conformist, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never. I'm still not. And I'm a bit too anti-conformist actually. I feel like sometimes for like no reason. So now I've started to like,
semi-conform.
Just like sometimes it's fine to conform because it's not wrong. But I'm just like any sort of, I'm like, I won't do this. If everybody else is doing it, I'm not going to do this. So that was a bit extreme when I was young. Now it's kind of tempered down. But yeah, fundamentally I'm still an anti-conformist for sure. So with Kho Gaye Hum Kahan, it happened very randomly because it was not for a film. Like Jasleen hit me up and she was also like doing gigs and all with me that time. We would like meet at shows and stuff. We do a lot of singer-songwriter, not a lot, but a few singer-songwriter nights together. And she was also really cool. Like she had these like, I think she would have like ghungroos and stuff on her legs and have a little tambourine that she would hit and have a mouth organ and play a guitar.
That's cool.
So she used to do this like kind of multi like, like one-man band, one-girl band kind of thing. And, play her songs and, really like cute performances. So I was like, cool, let's come over, we'll write. So she came home and like, she had an idea already and she was like, I'm trying to pitch this to a film. So we wrote it together, So like the whole process was very like, she did majority of the melody for sure. I kind of did majority of the lyrics. So that's why we kind of like split like, credits like that. But we worked on it together. So, it was like a nice, like I did, and we produced it together in the studio. So it wasn't like I was taking on one role. We kind of like did the song together. So it was nice, and she just couldn't pitch it to a film. Like it didn't work out. Because this is like 2014, I want to say.
Okay.
And nothing worked out. And she, and then 2 years later, or 1.5 years later, she was like, oh, you know what? Like after we'd done the song, I was sitting on my iPhone, our iPhone, like both of our iPhones, just as like a guitar and melody and vocal, simple, like, nothing fancy, recorded on a phone. And she was like, oh, somebody liked it. They want to put it in a film. I was like, cool, let's do it. And I didn't even ask her what film it was, actually. I didn't ask her. I don't know why, but I was like, cool, let's do it. She told me like, this is how much they're paying. I was like, yeah, it's cool. This is how we're going to do it. Like, I was just cool with everything because it was pretty easy. I was in Bombay for something else. We ended up recording it. Sab ho gaya. And then like, I think like, she said, oh, movies coming. And then my manager asked me that like, what's the film? I was like, yeah, I told pucha hi nahi. So then I asked her, by the way, what's the film? Then she told me it was Baar Baar Dekho. And then I Googled it. I was like, damn, this is a pretty big film.
It's a big film. Damn.
I had no idea. So, but that's the thing. Like, I liked it because it was like, I could kind of do everything. And it was not like this, I'm coming in as a lyricist or a composer or something.
Yeah. You did it your way.
Yeah. So, and then after that, we started getting some projects. But I always did it like that. I pretty much like would be like, I'm going to do everything. And if I want to work, I'm cool to work with people on it. But I want to be involved in all aspects of like making this song. I'm not going to like just write the lyrics and see what happens with the melody. Because I also like, then that really bugs me. If I write really nice words and like somebody puts a melody and I don't like it, like that's not cool with me. So it's either we're working together and we all have creative control collectively, and then it's a conversation, and then of course like you vibe up each other and you figure it out. Like I've written a song with Ankur, Dil Beparwa, which was like that. It was very like
collaborative.
Very collaborative. So that was nice. And then like each artist respects each other and nobody tries to take control. It's not about ego. It's about making the song really, really good. So even with Jasleen, it was like that. With Ankur, it was like that. So that kind of stuff I'm cool with. But I don't like giving off control completely, So
once the song released, how was it after that? Then did the doors open and be like, okay, now we're here?
Not much happened actually.
Oh, okay.
It's not like things went like crazy or anything. That song did that soundtrack did really, really well. But I didn't actually play that song live till 2019. I never played it live.
Wow. How come?
To be completely honest, I think it was kind of like a little like, I don't know, I don't want to play a Bollywood song. If I was completely honest. I was a little like, I was also young and I was like very indie. And I was like, you know what, I don't want to play it. I want to play only my songs. So I just didn't play it till 2019.
It's still your song.
It is still my song. That's what I realized because I think that's what I'm saying. I was pretty dumb when I was young. I did a lot of dumb things. And that was just like silly, I think. And then I got over it. And by 2019 tour, I was like, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
And that song just like crushed it live. And but that's what I'm saying. It came out in 2016.
Yeah.
And for 2 years, it didn't make much of a difference because I had other songs which did really well in the meantime. You know, like Tune Kaha became pretty popular in 2016. I think Tum Jab Paas came out in 2017. I want to say that was doing well. Raat Raazi was doing well in general. It had grown over 2-3 years, and people really liked it at concerts. So I had like small concerts, like 500-600 people.
Yeah.
But like, it had started to really sustain itself by 2016.
Yeah.
I went to South by Southwest for the first time that year. Started building my US career there.
Yeah.
There was a lot of work, and income was kind of like decent then. Suddenly, I was like, okay, I can, you know, actually fly myself across the world.
Yeah.
I can do a bunch of stuff. I can invest in things, as in the music only.
Yeah.
You know, so it started feeling really self-sustaining, but you know, it was still challenging that time. It was not like didn't feel like that I've made it or anything.
Yeah. And you write a lot of like deep lyrics, right? Like lyrics that which is why I guess so many people relate.
That's what they say.
Yeah. So is it like is it bouncing off your personal life at all? Like do you draw it from there or?
You know, I still haven't figured it out completely because it's like, yes, some of it sometimes it does, but I would say it more kind of like creeps into the song.
Yeah.
It's not like I think about like, oh, yesterday I like walked on the street and saw this beautiful like painting or whatever.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen, but whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, let me write about that experience. I never write a song like that. I usually just start writing stuff, lines, melodies, bits, riffs, like lyric lines, phrases come to me. I put them out on paper in a very like kind of like here and there, or on phones I'll write multiple lines and I'll record multiple little bits.
Yeah.
And then I kind of start putting it together and something just starts to form, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes there's a line that's really, really awesome and I'm like, oh, this is great. Let me build the song around this. It's kind of different every time.
Yeah.
But it starts from just like very spontaneously how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And then usually like at some point I start to realize what it's about.
Yeah.
You know, there's something in the song or some line I'm like, oh, this sounds like this is about that intense experience I had a couple of months ago or last week or yesterday, whatever.
So you connected backwards basically.
I connected backwards, yeah. And then I use that information to finish the song, you know. But sometimes I don't also. Like sometimes it's a bit of a balance because sometimes it might be about an experience.
Yeah.
But writing about it compromises on the song somehow. I don't know.
Yeah.
So sometimes I might like make it completely fictional.
Because it like limits it in a certain way if you...
Exactly. Because maybe that experience is just not worth writing about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll just fictionalize it. Like I might draw inspiration from that a little bit, but then like have certain lines or like the chorus might be about something which is not something that happened to me or is not actually real, but like feels really good in the context of the song. So it's really different every time. So it's hard to say, but definitely considering that everything is coming so spontaneously from my inside, there is a lot of like me in most of my music. It's very, you know.
I mean, it has to be. There's no way it can be.
I don't think it's possible. Exactly. I think most artists end up lending a little bit of themselves into the music and the art they make.
Yeah.
So that's the same case with me. Yeah.
And how did Cold Mess happen? I think that's been
just another one of these. You know, there was nothing special about it. It's just one day I was writing. I think I started to write it on the piano and then switched to the guitar, and I wrote another acoustic, and then we tried it on the electric for the first time with the band, and it felt really good, like how it is now. You know, this kind of arrangement. We played it live for the first time, and that was one of those songs. Just like the first concert I played, people were just like,
wow,
loved it. Like first time anybody's heard this song, and they're like, and that doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah. Like where you don't know the lyrics, but you
don't know the lyrics, you don't know the song, but you just like vibe with it immediately. The first time that line came, that I wish I could love you, I wish I could leave my love. Yeah. My heart is you know, because it's like belty and loud. Everybody was like, ooh.
And it was on Barack Obama's 2019 favorite list. How did that feel? Did you anticipate it at all?
Yeah, it felt cool that time. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it felt cool. We are very much really underplaying it right now.
It felt really cool. Yeah, it felt really, but that's what it was. I mean, it was very unexpected. Yeah. So it was very, very surprising. And I think
Come on, you have to give me more than it felt cool.
It felt really, really good. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Like, I'm trying to find a better adjective, but now you made me nervous because I just said cool. So I can't think of anything. But it was really
great.
It felt really great. Yes, it did. And but it was also like very shocking in a good way. So I was really, really like, what the how, you know? But But yeah, that's about it. Then honestly, it like kind of wears off after a few days, then you just kind of go on with your life. But
Really?
yeah. But it was a great evening when I found out, for sure.
Of course, yeah.
My
I
parents
think
got
it was
like cake and stuff, and we celebrated.
No, it was a great evening just
At
generally
like
because
midnight, ordered cake or something.
no, but an Indian has made it to that list. That's the truth. It's like it's
I think
special.
Yeah, I think South Asians in general are not massively represented in pop culture. Like for a long time, that they weren't at all.
Yeah.
Now it sort of started happening.
Yeah.
So it felt like a win to me in that sense.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we're at this stage now where differences of like race and ethnicities and nationalities has started to matter less and less.
Yeah.
And I really want to see a world where people are just really concerned about the song that they're listening to,
and not
concerned about like where it's coming from.
Yeah.
As long as you relate to it.
Yeah.
And this was like an English song from an Indian artist
that
somebody from a very, very different cultural and national background, like an American who grew up in the US and listens to like Biggie and like all this other kind of stuff. Obama has a like really good taste in music. that was not me, being immodest. I was actually just
fully was. It was like he has great taste in music. No shit. that was the tone. But it's fine.
No, I didn't mean it like that. I just mean like just somebody like really in kind of like relevant in like pop culture, like appreciating English songs especially. I thought that was a cool thing.
Yeah. What are some of the moments where what are the highlights if you had to?
As in?
The I made it moments. It doesn't matter that they wore off.
Yeah, every one of them felt amazing. Like when that Raat Raazi video went viral, which was very small. When I got booked for all 4 of those weekenders and a bunch of other actually shows and festivals. That was like that season felt like wow.
Yeah.
South by Southwest, when I got picked for it, was crazy because it felt amazing. I jumped actually.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, it's just like nobody had gone to South by Southwest from India at that point. Nobody from India had ever gone. I'm pretty sure I was literally the first one, or maybe at least after a long time or something. And I just applied online and I got a slot, and like South by Southwest slot, early stage for a musician is a big deal because it's just the entire industry is there and like you get to meet a lot of people. So that felt really, really great. After the festival, I was just like, didn't feel that great because it's really chaotic there and not a lot happens actually. But I did meet my US manager at South by Southwest. She discovered me in 2016 from that and we still work together and she's amazing. And a lot of like what's happened in the US for me is all because of her, really. 2019 felt like incredible. All the shows. By the end, I played like 8,000 people in Delhi, 6,000 people in Bombay. Everybody singing my song together like that. That felt like crazy. Then the Obama list happened. That felt crazy. Then Kasoor came out 2020. Yeah, that's it. I think I just put out all the highlights.
Yeah, it's like my career is the highlight.
In a nutshell, yeah.
And how do you manage your mental health? Is that something that you've consciously tried to?
Yeah, in the last couple of years. Yeah. Before that, never really thought about it that much. Because it was never really a conversation, honestly, I think. And nobody ever said anything about what to do. Like mostly people would just say that I had a lot of anxiety and even like, I wouldn't say depression maybe now, like being more like informed about it, but definitely would get really, really low. Because I feel like depression is like quite intense from what I know. Yeah, you physically cannot move sometimes and stuff. A lot of anxiety. At a point, I was getting like some panic attacks as well when I was like in my mid-20s. But I don't know, I just like read about it a lot and then tried to do things that help and like things like, definitely being physically healthier helps.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I was drinking quite a bit in my mid-20s because of touring. When you're young, you don't realize because it doesn't affect you that much.
Damaging your body,
And you don't realize it because you can just get away with drinking 4 nights a week. And I was on tour, so every show you have alcohol backstage. Everybody's drinking all the time. This industry is kind of like, very tempting in that way. Yeah. So you have to be like, really, really have a lot of self-control. But I didn't. So, I just drank a lot and I think that really affected my mental health a lot. Before that, I used to I had this kind of routine where I'd have a whiskey before I get on stage just to kind of like calm the nerves. Not like crazy drunk or anything, But it was just, I just realized it was like a mental thing.
Yeah.
And now actually 90% of the times I do not drink before a show.
Okay.
And then maybe if I feel like it, I'll have one after just to relax or something. So I'm pretty balanced about it now.
Yeah.
So physically I'm a lot healthier, which really helped. Therapy really helped, which is more recent for me. I actually started doing it properly only like 4 or 5 months ago. That's really helped. In the
That's
past
really
1 month.
recent.
Really recent.
What triggered that?
I'd been thinking about it for a while. I just couldn't really find a good therapist, honestly. I tried a few people.
Yeah.
And then last year it just kind of happened.
Yeah.
It kind of clicked and like I found somebody online who was really good. And that has really helped. But I think even before this, like from my mid-20s till when I was like 30, whatever, a couple of years ago, it got a little better just basically by a little bit of discipline, just like eating better. And then touring mental health is a whole different thing because like what really helped me was like routine on tour. Like I just eat the same thing every day. I try to work out a couple of times a week. I'm
Getting
very
a routine while traveling.
Yeah, I'm very like fixated on that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I take breaks, like, you know, like in the sense like I will not, I like on the US tour or even the India tour, it's like for 2-3 weeks, like I will just after a show go back and go to sleep, not do nothing. And then like sometimes we'll hang out and stuff. So earlier it would happen after every show.
Yeah.
Now it's like it would happen after every like 7th show or something, every 6th show,
Yeah.
you know, every 5 shows, every week maybe.
Yeah.
So that really like, because I like doing that also.
Yeah.
I like hanging out with the band and going out and stuff, especially. And the US is really bad because you do shows every day pretty much, you know. You do 3 to 4 shows a week.
Yeah.
So if you drink 3 to 4 times a week, it's not a good thing, right?
It's a good
so I would just not drink at all. And then one weekend after one show, when we have a day off, the next day we would have like a party or something, you know. So that balance really helped. And like routine really helps. And I write on tour, which really calms me a lot.
Yeah.
So like I actually really like writing in different random hotel rooms because it's quiet. I'm by myself. Nobody's bothering me. I have nothing to do.
Yeah.
I have nothing to get to except like the show, which is 4 hours later.
Yeah.
So
it's a good time.
It's a good time to just be with the guitar and chill in the room. So yeah.
Yeah. Any special fan moment that you remember?
Honestly, like not really.
No.
There's nothing like
A particular thing that
a
stands
particular thing that stuck out really. It's just a lot of, usually it's really overwhelming when people are very overwhelmed sometimes with me.
Yeah.
Which just like, I still don't understand it actually.
No, it happens.
Because I don't know, you can just
Have you
sense.
seen Believers?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but that's literally what happens sometimes.
Yeah.
And like, that's the kind of stuff that is really, and that's not specific people or incidents, it's just, it happens every now and then.
Yeah.
And like, after shows and stuff, where people really freeze sometimes or
Wow.
just get
Yeah.
very overwhelmed
Yeah.
or start crying sometimes.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty intense. And then I don't know what to do, and I'm just smiling like very awkwardly, like just like, oh.
So somebody's crying and being like, yes, Prateek has sung and changed my life, and you're smiling.
Yeah, but like I'm not. It's not a sad cry, no.
Okay, it's
like a happy cry. So like, you know, so it's like I'm not gonna be like sad about
like
it.
tears of joy.
It's sort of, yeah.
Okay, so there's this new segment. It's called Things About You that we can't find on Google. So we've done a whole bunch of research and haven't found it. So now we'll ask you.
Okay.
Who's your biggest critic?
Probably like my managers.
Okay.
Yeah. No, even actually so on the work front, my managers. On like the personal front, like everybody, my sisters and my mom. My dad's actually not a critic at all. He just only like says good things about me, honestly. He rarely criticizes me, and I'm like, okay. So anytime he says something to me, like, okay, you are biased.
Yeah.
But my mom is a bit more critical. My sisters are very straight with me, very straight. And I have a couple of friends also who are like really close. All my closest friends are my high school friends from Jaipur.
Yeah.
They're super straight with me. Like we're just like the same. Like our dynamic has not changed at all.
Yeah.
So like they will just call me out on anything. Yeah. Even on the music stuff sometimes, like this is not good,
great. Yeah.
You know, like just very straight.
But so necessary sometimes.
It's really good. I really like that actually. Yeah.
Who do you call when you have good news?
Actually, like, okay, so if I'm seeing somebody, it's usually that person.
Yeah.
You know, right now I'm not. But if I'm like in a relationship, I'm very like, I become very tight. Suddenly it's just like I'm that sort of a person in a relationship, which is, we're talking every single day and stuff, or you know, it's very connected. So then it would always be that person. But if not, then I just don't do anything about it actually.
Really?
Yeah, I just keep it to myself.
Yeah.
I don't like actually talking about good news to people. If it's like work stuff, I will tell my managers maybe.
Yeah.
But usually I get the good news from them.
Yeah,
You
so
know,
then I'm
that
not
doesn't
telling
happen.
them. Yeah.
But I don't ever tell my family and stuff or my friends or anybody ever. They usually find out and they're like, why didn't you tell me? I'm like, well, I just never
happened.
do.
Yeah. What's your comfort food?
Like a good Italian meal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the things.
What's your favorite Prateek Kuhad song?
I don't have one.
Come
I don't
on.
listen to my own music like that. After I'm done working on my music,
It's just
I've
done.
heard
It's
it
out
like 1,000 times already because
Yeah.
you know you're mixing it, you're fixing
Yeah,
details.
yeah.
I've heard 30 different versions. I have no perspective,
Yeah.
so I don't want to listen to it ever again, and I don't actually.
Which other Indian artist's work do you most appreciate?
Growing up, I was a big fan. I still am. I mean, it's all the music I heard when I was young, like Rahman.
Yeah.
Lot of Bollywood, like lot of like Shankar Ehsaan Loy soundtracks as well. Then of course like the bands like that were popular back then in the 90s, like Lucky Ali, Silk Route, Euphoria.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a lot of my like comfort music from back then.
Yeah. If not music, what would you be doing today?
I don't know actually. I wonder what I'd be doing myself.
A consultant in New York?
Maybe. I feel like I would have quit that eventually anyway. Yeah.
With or
I feel
without
like
the
I would have
music?
done something else. Yeah. Because that was really taxing me. Like in the first few months, I was like, dude, I don't know. I don't know
What's going
about
on?
this.
Yeah.
Like, alright, I'm making money and stuff, but like, I don't know if I can do this my entire life.
Yeah. Any regrets?
Kind of like, sometimes I think I wish I'd started doing this sooner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I feel like, you know, I started when I was 23, which is pretty late. Like, if I'd just started going at really hard at like 18 when I was in New York and could have used all those opportunities, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I tried, like, I put in like 10-20% of my time. But it's not really a regret because I just don't have regrets actually. I don't like having regrets. If I regret something, I just justify them and like move on with your life.
Like, this is what happened.
Regret
This is
in
why.
too much is like, can become quite self-victimizing.
Yeah.
And I try to like, that's one thing I'm like very aware of.
Yeah.
Like, I never want to like self-victimize myself because I think that's a very negative cycle to get into.
Yeah. Okay, now we're going to show you an old photo. You have to tell me what was happening. Give me context to the image.
Oh, these are my these are both my sisters.
Okay, so what was going on?
Both my sisters live in like one of them actually lives in Delhi, other one lives in Jaipur, and this was in my family house in Jaipur.
Okay.
Where we all grew up, and I think it was one of the weekends or like one of the kind of family get-togethers. So everybody was there, like their husbands, their kids, my parents.
It's a good time, good memory.
It's a very good memory, yeah.
Okay.
I remember this photo, yeah. I don't exactly remember. It might have been near Diwali, I want to say.
Yeah.
Or this might have been actually Rakhi, actually. This might have been Rakhi.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, last question. What advice would you give to the 17-year-old Prateek who's just come to New York City and is starting towards music but like has this whole other career?
So many things. But you know, I think it's I mean, there's so many things I feel like I've learned now.
Yeah.
In general, I would see like, be less reactive, be like, you know, there's so many tiny things, like don't fear things, you know. I feel like one thing I've really fought over the years is just fear of things.
Yeah.
Like I used to have a lot of fears and I've like slowly like started to really face them and detach them and just kind of go for it.
Yeah.
Be more like positive.
Yeah.
I was very, very cynical when I was a kid. Yeah. Very, very like, very negative actually. But then again, you know, maybe I won't be me right now then.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I want to even give any advice beyond the point.
That's good advice.
Yeah, just do what you want to do.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, this was
fun.
really fun.
Yeah, it was fun. And all the luck.
Thank
and
you.
I know you're
Thank
going
you
to
so
create
much.
amazing music. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you. Yeah, it was wonderful being here. Thanks.
If you like this episode, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon. Thank you all for being the best community, and I'll see you soon.
I get excited by cracking some problems. So I was not looking at it from I have to handle this, I have to be the leader now or anything of that sort. It used to give me a kick that I've come out of nowhere and I'm going and telling a company like ICICI buy technology from me, and they'll be like, who the hell are you? Like, yeah, you know, we can't trust like these two kids who've come to say that we'll tell you what to do, you know, and But I used to be dogged about it. Like, I'll go and meet them like 5 times and explain it to them. And to me, to clinch that deal, to convince someone that no, we can solve this, was like a huge, it was a rush in my head.
Yeah.